my dear students, I welcome you all in my surgery online class, and today topic of discussion is cholelithiasis. Cholelithiasis, also known as gallstones. So, cholelithiasis, gallbladder stones, also known as gallstones. So, these are pebble-like, hard, irregular, or could be small or large, could be single or multiple like particles in the gallbladder. So, there is formation of stones in the gallbladder. We all know what is gallbladder. It is a pear-shaped organ placed beneath the liver. So beneath the liver, below the liver, it is placed, and it is very small pear-shaped organ, and the situation of liver is in right side. So it is also in right, beneath the liver. So it is in the right hypochondrium. So gallbladder is a pear-shaped organ and lies beneath the liver in right-sided hypochondrial region. So the location is in the right hypochondrium of the abdomen, and it lies beneath the liver. It is a pear-shaped organ. And what is the function? It stores bile. Which helps in, what does bile do? Bile helps in digestion and in elimination of the excess or unwanted bile pigments and cholesterol. So it helps in digestion and elimination of the bile pigments, bilirubin, and cholesterol. So this excess or unwanted of bilirubin and cholesterol gets eliminated through the bile. So this is the important function of gallbladder. Beside this, nothing important. So always remember, in case of gallbladder, it is a pear-shaped organ placed beneath the liver, and it stores the bile. Now, how does this gallbladder stones occur? Etiology. So the factors. The primary factor is the metabolic cause. Now, in metabolic cause, like if the person is consuming more cholesterol diet, more fats, like hypercholesteremia, or the obese people who have more cholesterol in them. So actually cholesterol is a water, it is not water soluble. Cholesterols are not water soluble, and cholesterol is formed in the liver. So liver forms or makes cholesterol. Cholesterol is produced inside the liver. Then this cholesterol passes through the biliary system and enters the gallbladder. Now from the gallbladder, it will enter the GIT, and then it will get eliminated. But in obese people, or the persons who are consuming more fat-rich diet, fat food, they are consuming more fatty diet, and the excess of cholesterol, because cholesterol is not water soluble. So to get eliminated, to enter into the GIT and then to get eliminated from the body, it needs to travel in the water, in the liquid. So what it will do? Cholesterol will combine with the bilirubin. bile salts. So cholesterol, because it is not water soluble, it cannot travel in the water, so to get enter into the GIT, then get eliminate, it will combine with the bile salts. Now there is some proportion, that fixed criteria, that something specific, this number of molecules of bile salts and this fixed number of crystals of cholesterol get combined. But when there is excess of cholesterol, because if the person is obese, or if the person is taking more fatty rich diet, so the hypercholesterolemia and the excess of cholesterol, if the cholesterol is excess, too much excess comparing the solubilizing activity. So the solubilizing activity is less and the cholesterol is more. So that excess of cholesterol then will form cholesterol monohydrate crystals. Cholesterol monohydrate crystals. So cholesterol is not water soluble, and to travel in the water, to get eliminate, it will combine with the bile salts. But if the cholesterol is excess than the solubilizing capacity, then it will form cholesterol monohydrate crystals, and this cholesterol monohydrate crystals will get precipitate in the gallbladder, and then when this will get precipitate in the gallbladder, this will form cholesterol stones. So that's how the stones are formed. So this is the metabolic cause. When the excess of cholesterol forms cholesterol monohydrate crystals and that get precipitated in the gallbladder to form stones. This is the metabolic cause. Then the second reason is infections. Infections like protease, E. coli, anaerobic infections in the tooth, or tonsillitis, or infections in the abdomen. So that infections can lead to the stone formation. Now how the stone formation occurs in this case? When there will be infections, this bacteria, this anaerobic organisms or aerobic organisms will travel through the bloodstream and will enter into the gallbladder, and there it will make focus. It will make focus or needles. So that infected focus will result in stasis of the bile, and then there will be the perforation and necrosis and formation of stones. So that's how this leads to the mixed stones. Mixed stones. Sorry, I forgot to mention that the gallbladder stones that are that could be large, multiple, single, or irregular in shape, pedal-like particles in the gallbladder. These stones are majorly formed of cholesterol, minerals, and bilirubin. Majorly stones are formed of cholesterol, minerals, and bilirubin. So the infections like E. coli, proteus, and anaerobic infections or streptococci infections can lead to the formation of mixed stones. Then third reason is stasis of bile. Stasis of bile could be during the pregnancy period, or the high estrogen, or following the vagotomy. So after the vagotomy or during the phase of pregnancy, or high estrogen level can lead to the stasis of bile, and that will also lead to the formation of mixed stones. So metabolic cause is the reason for cholesterol stones. infections and stasis is the reason for mixed type of stones. Number 4 is hemolytic anemia. Hemolytic anemia or sickle cell anemia or hereditary spherocytes. Hereditary spherocytosis. Hereditary spherocytosis, hemolytic anemia, sickle cell anemia that leads to the breakdown of RBCs. There is hemolysis, breakdown of the RBCs, and that excess of breakdown of RBCs will lead to the production of more unconjugated bilirubin. There will be more unconjugated bilirubin because of more breakdown of the RBCs. So the more unconjugated bilirubin, there will be excess of unconjugated bilirubin. And this unconjugated bilirubin, because there is excess of unconjugated bilirubin, so it will not be able to conjugate with the glucuronic acid. So the excess of unconjugated bilirubin will not be able to conjugate with the glucuronic acid, and this excess unconjugated bilirubin will combine with calcium. This will combine with calcium to form calcium bilirubinate stones. These are pigment stones. So the hemolytic anemia, hereditary spherocytosis or sickle cell anemia leads to the formation of pigmented or pigment stones. These pigment stones are black in color because of the hemolysis, breakdown of the RBCs. So there are 3 varieties of stones: cholesterol stones, mixed stones and pigment stones. I will come to all one by one, but first I will complete the etiology. So we have discussed here the factors causing or the formation of the stones: metabolic reason, infections, stasis of bile, hemolytic anemia where the breakdown of RBC is occurring, sickle cell anemia, hereditary spherocytosis. The last reason is abnormal mucosa or abnormal mucus. Abnormal mucosa. So this abnormal mucosa generally occur in a disease. Genetic, that disease is genetically, and that disease occurs mostly in children. This is a genetic cystic fibrosis. This disease is genetically cystic fibrosis. In this disease there is abnormal mucosa, and this abnormal mucus will lead to impaired bile flow or sluggish bile movement. So that sluggish or stasis of bile will result in formation of stones. So that will also lead to the variety of mixed stones. So mixed stones could be due to the cause infections or due to the stasis of bile during the pregnancy or high estrogen or a following vagotomy, or due to the abnormal mucus like in disease genetic cystic fibrosis where the mucus is abnormal and that leads to impaired bile flow. So these are the reasons or the etiology. Now there are 3 varieties of stones we have discussed. The first is cholesterol. These cholesterol stones are generally 10%. And the excess of cholesterol, the hyperlipidemia or hypercholesterol level will lead to the formation of cholesterol stones. So these are radiolucent in look. They could be single or multiple, but generally the single solitary stone is present in gallbladder, and that is radiolucent, and it could be silent without any pain or without any other features. So patient will not be aware that he or she is having stone inside the gallbladder. That could be the silent. So cholesterol stones generally in 10% cases also. Then there is mixed stones. Then this mixed stones could be multiple or solid. Generally they are multiple, and they have alternate layer. So I am making the layers just to explain you. So these mixed stones are in alternate layer of cholesterol and pigment. The pigment is bilirubin. With the vegetations or the epithelium debris arrived or derived from the infective organism. So these mixed stones are due to the infections, following infections, because that infective organisms will travel through the bloodstream and reach the gallbladder and will erode the mucosa and will form the focus or needles in the wall of the gallbladder. So that focus is formed because of the proliferations of the infective organisms, bacteria or the parasite. So there is alternate layer of cholesterol, bilirubin with the vegetations and epithelium debris derived from the infective organism. Then the third variety is pigment stone. This pigment stone is due to excess of unconjugated bilirubin that doesn't get conjugated with the glucuronic acid, because there is excess of RBC breakdown, and that will result in excess of unconjugated bilirubin, and that unconjugated bilirubin will combine with calcium to form calcium bilirubinate stones. These stones are generally black in color, dark in color, because of the hemolysis, and they are multiple and sludge particles. They are sludge particles. Multiple. And they can be formed anywhere in the gallbladder or in the cystic duct. So anywhere they can be formed. So this is the types of gallbladder stones. Now what are the risk factors? The risk factors for gallbladder stones. So the obese people are at higher risk. So pregnancy, during the phase of pregnancy, because there is cases of bile, so the pregnant women are at higher risk. So the people are following or leading a not proper diet or not good lifestyle, so that people are at higher risk. So wrong lifestyle. Then elderly age people, older people, so above the age of 60, that people are at higher risk. So women are at more higher risk. And the diabetes. So you can add diabetes anywhere. So diabetic people are prone to get infected early, or they are at higher risk to develop any disease. So these are the risk factors. So, then beside this, in an exam or in a viva, it could be asked that explain or what is SAND triad. So you should know what is SAND triad. SAND's triad. So SAND's triad is formed when there are 3 varieties of diseases together in a person or in a patient. So there are 3 diseases together. First is cholelithiasis. lithiasis, that is the gallbladder stones, gallstones, cholelithiasis. Then there is hiatus hernia. Then there is diverticulosis of colon. So when these three diseases are together in a single patient, hiatus hernia, diverticulosis of colon and the cholelithiasis, that is the gallstones. So when these three conditions are together, that is known as a Sand's triad. A triad is formed, Sand's triad. So that could be asked in Viva also, or could be asked as a small 5 marks question. So you have to explain. So that was Sand's triad. Now what happened when this gallbladder stone is in the gallbladder? So this will cause irritation and inflammation of the gallbladder. So complications. In complications, this gallbladder stone will cause inflammation and irritation of the gallbladder. So cholecystitis. That is the inflammation of the gallbladder. And it can cause inflammation of the cystic duct or common bile duct or the biliary tree or the bile duct. So there will be inflammation of the bile duct, inflammation of the gallbladder. This will cause inflammation of the pancreas, so pancreatitis. This will cause, because this will obstruct the liver, this will cause pressure on the liver, so jaundice. So these are the complications: pancreatitis, jaundice and inflammation of the bile duct or cystic duct, or the inflammation of the gallbladder, that is cholecystitis. Now this cholecystitis can be calculous and acalculous, but here we are discussing the topic cholelithiasis, that is the gallstones. So I will discuss here the calculous cholecystitis. How this occurs? Now when the stone is in the biliary tree or in the gallbladder, that gallstone will cause, this is a gallstone is present in the gallbladder. So this will cause what? This will cause stasis. First it will create inflammation, irritation, okay, then obstruction to the flow of bile. So there will be stasis of bile. So when there will be stasis of bile, sluggish flow of the bile or impaired flow of the bile, that will result in the proliferation of bacteria. So the bacteria will easily grow because there is obstruction to the bile flow. So that bacteria will easily reach there and will proliferate and will cause necrosis or perforation of the gallbladder. Then beside this, if the obstruction, if the proliferation of the bacteria is not occurring, infection is not occurring, but it will cause inflammation and irritation and it will erode mucosa. So this will erode the mucosa, and when the mucus will get eroded, then the tissue planes will be, that tissue planes will be in direct touch, and that will get exploded to the tissue planes will get exposed. The tissue planes will get exposed to the bile salts. So that bile salts, the tissue planes will get exposed to the bile salts, and this bile salts have a detergent activity, so that will cause erosion and the necrosis and perforation. So the ultimate result is necrosis or perforation of the gallbladder.